Hi, best friend. Welcome back to the Real Estate Talk podcast. My name is Rudzumurevedi, and I am so pleased to welcome here today. Today we have a guest, guys, and she's not new to the channel. She's been in this channel, and you guys have seen it. If you are a day one here, you know Krie. Krie's back on our screen, guys. Krie's back on our screen. I'm just gonna give you a brief of who Krie is for those that are new. Krie, she's a director of Prime Oak Management. So not only she's a realtor, she's also a boss babe. So she has been managing Prime Oak as a director for the past 2 years. She's been a realtor with me since we started Muga Properties, and this is her second to third year in the industry. So you guys are getting information from the best, and apart from that, she's my friend. Welcome, Krie, to the Real Estate Podcast. Guys, you can't believe how scared I am to interview her. I'm not just talking about scared, I'm nervous. I don't know why. I'm so scared talking about her because, you know, when you watch someone grow from their journey, you get so scared because you're like, yeah. So in this podcast, we have a way of putting people on the spot, especially you being our first guest, so you get to experience this first. So you're gonna have to tell our audience something about you that no one knows about you.
What? Okay, something that nobody knows about me. I'm an introvert.
You're gonna have to explain that.
Actually, I'm hoping introvert is the word, right? Because I'm not sure between the definition between intro and extro. But I actually realized that I am not someone who communicates with people. I used to think that I'm a talking person. I just realized that it's just in my industry. But when I'm out there, outside and not working and I'm around people, and if I don't know you on a level of friendship, I tend to go back into my shell and only speak when spoken to. Yeah. So I just learned this past few times that I'm actually an introvert. And it happens with clients too, because some clients speak and speak and speak and speak, and you're just like, I'm running out of things to say.
Yeah, I think when it comes to clients, there's those things where you walk so prepared to like talk about, oh, this is a 3-bed, this is you know, and then this client comes like they know it all, and then all of a sudden you feel like, do I have to say something? Yes. Or do I just have to like walk behind them and say nothing?
And I have a problem going, So I just learned that about myself. So that's something that people don't know.
Do you think it's naturally who you are, or this happened because of the career that you are in right now?
I think it's natural, because even in past careers that I used to have, I used to only speak because of the industry that I was in. So I think having to then get into a calmer industry and calmer part of my life, or calmer career part of my life, is when I start realizing that I actually don't really like being around people. Like, I would have an hour to say I'm going out for an hour, I'll talk just for an hour. If that hour elapses and I'm still outside, there goes my battery as well. So I think I've learned it in the chapters of my life as I'm growing up, and also getting more calm into the kind of industry that I'm also settling into. I only have enough energy to just communicate with people, and then after that, I'm done.
I mean, I called you here because I know that you, someone that can talk more to how it feels to be a realtor, and you know, going into, I think a lot of people have this thing of saying, as a real estate agent, you are flexible, you have money, it's not important, you just open the doors, it's not that deep, it's not difficult, and people don't get to see how real estate actually changed your character from a certain person to a certain personality. And I just wanted you to talk about how do you think being a realtor has changed you so far?
I mean, first of all, I'm very hard-headed. With real estate, when I got into real estate, I learned that you can't argue with every client. And so I had to then obviously learn a different way to navigate certain, even though like a friend told me, answer only things that are important in the text or in the conversation, instead of knowing that clients will poke you to get that kind of aggression out of you. And when I started, for me, real estate is something that I love. You need to love this industry in order for you to do this kind of job. If you don't love it, the next day you're not going to get up and leave. For me, this is my bread and butter. I pay my rent with this. I take care of myself with this. I take care of President Pierce with this money. So I take care of my car. You know, all my responsibilities are based on only this job. And it's not that, yeah, there's sometimes you can think, you want to go do something else. But in all honesty, even when you do try, I've done so many things in my life that I can never say, oh, maybe I should shut this down and go and do something else. And it's even funny how I found myself in this career, you know, through a friend also who posted on WhatsApp that they're looking for people, and then I met you, you know. So I think within real estate, it's also the kind of people you meet within real estate that also make you understand that in real estate, yes, you can make a lot of money. There are times where you cannot make any money. You know, there are days where you don't have any income at all that's coming in, and there's days that you actually are a millionaire. You're flexing there in that moment. So I think for me, it's been a roller coaster of when I started. I was a very, I think I still am driven, and what's the word you always use? Resilient. Yeah, no, I've gone in with it where I realized that if I close one deal, this is how much I get, and one deal can cover so much of the things that I need to cover. So I just learned that, okay, if I have so many deals, then that means every month this is how I need to also close every month, and that's the kind of a mentality I've always gone with from start to end. One thing that I can say that changed in the whole process is probably the way I used to also, like I said, I used to be very, very hot-headed, respond, you know, and then you start learning that at the end of the day, it's not just only about you, it's about not only the business, but the client, who is the landlord or the owner or the buyer or the tenant, you know. You get to then realize that this is not about you. You are at service, since we are at service, right? You are at service to help people find a place and to also help someone else grow their investments that they have paid into. And I think that's where I've gotten to the maturity level of understanding that in this business, you sometimes need to put yourself aside in order to make a deal work.
So actually this happened. I don't think there's an enough strong word to describe the way you used to be. I think hard-headed is a mild version of what I got to experience, but we thank God for growth, we thank God for the experience. And I mean, if someone wants to get to this industry, like a fairly new agent that want to get into this industry, and they were wondering if it's hard or if it's easy, which word would you pick and why?
It's not hard, it's not easy. I feel like I said, you need to have passion for real estate. I don't like cold calling. I hate it with passion. But I need to do it in order to pay the bills. I love being outside. If I get listings, guys, best believe me, cold calling will probably happen sometime in the other week. I will be in the street running, doing things, because I love street work. You know, it's not easy, it's not hard. It's any other job. The thing that people confuse real estate is it's commission based, and people think, oh, because it's commission based, you have your own timing. Real estate is a 24-hour job. You just need to choose your hours. You just need to choose how you're working. So you'd fairly choose it from 8 to 5. That is fine. And then after that, you just do your emails and everything else. But I can't lie to you and say it's an easy job, because it's not. It's like any other job. There's admin that you're gonna have to do. There's cold calling that you have to do. There's having to have difficult conversations with owners to tell them that your precious, precious little baby here cannot go for the amount that you're expecting them to go for.
Yeah.
You know,
One of the biggest
You know.
thing, one of the things that I feel like every realtor hates,
Yes.
price cancelling.
Price cancelling,
And
yes.
having to walk into the house
Oh.
and the owner says, this is the most biggest house.
Yes, you
in the
can
estate."
find.
That
Have you
time
seen this?
you just walked out of a bigger house before
Yes,
them.
they say the same thing.
And everyone keeps saying the same thing, and you need to like calm yourself down and not say no, you're lying, but
Yes,
still find a way.
in a professional
Yeah.
way to actually.
I think one thing that I remember is when I started being a realtor, that one of the ladies that trained me reminded me was that when we walk into a beautiful house, I shouldn't like make a comment to say, wow,
yes.
this is a beautiful house, because
And
then
the
they
price
use
goes
it
up.
and go, oh yeah, actually we bought this for 5 million, we bought this for how much, and now because you've already wowed,
The whole
can't react
yes,
to
you
that.
can't react to it, and the prices go up immediately if you comment and say something. So you just go in and this is
beautiful
nice.
house.
This is a beautiful home. You know, that's all you can say. So I can really not say it's easy, it's hard. I feel like it's just like any corporate job that you're gonna have. It's just that in real estate you've got your own hours, and the worst downfall to a lot of new agents is the fact that they know it's their own hours, because you think you have time. You don't have time.
I think they say become a realtor so you can be flexible, but you find yourself working 24 hours.
More
that
than what
even
you
when you are in a
expect.
vacation, guys,
Yes.
I'll tell you a story time of us last year where I was so exhausted that I worked so hard, and this girl was like, you know what, there's one way that you wouldn't work. Take you to the bush where there's no network.
Yeah.
So if you're dating a
No
realtor,
network.
this is a tip, okay? You don't take them to anything that has a network,
adventures.
because they're going to be working.
Yes.
Their phone will ring non-stop.
And during that weekend, our phones, the only time we actually got notifications was when we left.
Left.
That's the only time.
I think the only reception we had was just to be able to tell people we
are
are
alive.
that one bar, and then it went boom.
God.
So if you are dating a realtor, or you are becoming one, or you are one, do yourself a favor booking yourself in a place where there's no network, so that you can rest, because you literally work 24 hours. As soon as you switch on your phone, it goes
Yeah.
And the problem is that is even a mental thing, because if your phone does not do that, you get sick.
You get annoyed. Yes, you actually get worried. You get stressed. If you don't have appointments, you get stressed. Even taking a break feels like I'm not doing something. I mean, we had to learn that it's okay to take a break.
Yesterday I was listening to another podcast, and this lady was mentioning how you schedule your time, and she says it's okay that there's some days where you don't have appointments. That on that day where you don't have appointment, use that time to rest. And I know it's gonna feel weird,
we don't do that,
but do it. And yesterday I literally didn't have much, and then after work it was 4 o'clock, and I was like, how am I going to rest at 4 o'clock? I kept on looking for something to do. If I tell you, I sat on that desk until
one
6.
person that does not know how to rest is this one.
I was sitting at the desk thinking I forgot something. It felt different.
If you're not doing work, you need to find work to do. Friend, actually, we still need to do. We need to sit down and actually do this. Man, no. Close your laptop. Close the laptop.
It's part of being an entrepreneur, and I feel like every entrepreneur in every different type of a business will tell you the same thing, that they find it hard to rest, because it feels like when I'm resting, my money is resting.
Yes, the money is not coming in. I mean, it's a feeling that I also get every single time. Even yesterday, I felt like, okay, if I don't do this enough, okay, what else? Even if there's nothing you can do, you will find something to do. And that's the thing about being a realtor. You actually
end up being burnt out.
Yes. And being burnt out is not a good thing, because you crash. And imagine crashing during the week where you need to be productive. So rather crash Friday till Sunday. So
what advice would you give to someone that is a new realtor that is struggling with the emotional side of real estate? Like, for example, you know, when you started and then you have a listing and the listing is not selling, you take it to the heart. Like you take it as if you are the problem. You don't know how to understand that this is not actually her. Like for example, I used to get very offended when someone come to view a house and then they say, oh, but this house has a lot of work. I'll take it as if this is my house, they're bashing it. Like, but then I realized that that is lack of emotional intelligence, because you're not supposed to be attached to any property or anything at all.
That's what I wanted to actually answer. You need to study the law of detachment with a listing. Not detachment in the sense that no, you need to make sure that this is just business. It's purely, you can't control the market. You can't control how people are going to react to a certain property. There's nothing much you can do. I'm not resilient because of attachments. It's not my thing. Like the first time that property where somebody died, it's like, okay, somebody died once in one of my properties and she didn't want to enter the property at all. And my thing was,
that is one of the stories that you need to talk about, and I don't know why you rush into it, because I have it there for you.
But it wasn't it for me. It's a property. It's a business. It's work. Outside of this, there's me. So when I enter into this house, it's me and the house. But whatever anyone says, I'm taking all of that in, and then I'm going to give it as feedback to the owner. One thing you need to learn as a new agent is you need to study the law of detachment when it comes to your listings, and not in the sense that you need to completely let them go. No, detachment in terms of feelings, in terms of what you think of the property, whatever comments needs to hit. Don't even, sometimes when somebody walks in, they'll either love it, they won't. Someone will feel like this property is big, someone will feel like it's small. You know, people have different opinions out there, and it's okay. You are there, again, servicing both parties. You are here to help a client find a home. You are here to help a client find somebody for the home that they're selling or renting out. So one thing I will teach new agents would be the law of detachment. Just because it's not moving now, every property, they say every pot has a lid, right? Every property has a buyer, every property has a renter. I used to say, I just need that one, I don't think that's a good word to use it on the platform, that one person to see this place and be like, oh, I like this, I want this. You know, so you can't, so don't allow yourself to be fully detached, especially with emotions. It happens. It's the same thing as work. If you have an assignment and you submit it and they're not very happy, don't be attached to, you've done most that you can do. There's nothing more that you can do, you know, except for you waiting. That's why they say, wait on the Lord.
So, if you could describe your real estate journey in one word, what would be the word and why?
Adventurous. Because I have gone and seen properties. I once had to climb a construction.
Oh my God.
You have to hold cats, dogs, entertain babies. It's always it's a fun adventure, guys. Real estate is fun. You actually don't know the kind of people you're meeting. You don't know the experience you're about to have. We once drove to a construction that had a green, what do you call, net around it, and they wanted a price for a full built house.
And I remember this story. Now you reminded me of that lame story. So she calls me. She's like, hey friend, I have a seller. She wants to sell her house for 4 million. What's it, 4 million?
Yeah, that's like 4 point something.
Guys, if I tell you that I was so excited, I was like, 4 meters.
And the estate was beautiful.
And then as we drive through the estate, we see big building, nice,
beautiful houses.
You should have seen. I have never smiled like that in my entire existence, because I was just like, oh my God,
our first 4 meters. When we got there, and she likes this thing of going, I hope it's not that house. Then it is that house. Oh my God. In everything, right? She'll be like, I hope it's not that house over there. I kid you not. It was that house over there.
The house was just structure. Listen,
Only.
structure
Only.
only. And I'm standing there praying that God, let it not be this one. Can it be the one on the left? And GPS kept saying,
You are here. You know you want to deny it, but you can't.
And she calls the seller. She goes, "Hi, we are at the house. Is the
Is it
house
the
right?"
structure?
And she goes,
Yes.
"Yes, that's the one." Oh my
With
God.
so much excitement.
Oh my God.
So I would definitely describe it as adventurous.
Yeah, no, I sometimes forget the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis with this job because, and one thing about me, I'm not an adventurous person. Like, if I find something creepy, I'm ready to walk.
Done.
Because
Over.
I think, and what helps me is that in most of these incidents, I always go with her. And yeah, that's one thing I always want to tell new realtors. If you have a friend or make friends that can always be with you at some point, not necessarily because we live in a very funny world, but also for your emotions as well. Because I mean, if I was alone, I would have died there. I would have cried so hard.
Yes, you would have
but
taken the
because
weight
you were
in.
there, I think it became fun instead, and it was easier to walk away from it. Because remember the other house where you had to go through the construction,
And this one is in Kyalami. No way.
So guys,
Would I do it again for that house? I told her the other time that I would actually go back for the video so you all see that house. Beautiful house, but the construction was not done.
guys, there is no staircase. Okay, when I'm saying there is no staircase, you have to go through.
And it's like the stairs are in
what
the
do we call,
air.
what do we call that thing that they used to build, to climb when they're building?
The leather.
No, they're not the scarf. Something those one where you have a steel here and a steel here.
When you're only holding.
Yes, you had to go through that, and then the owner was holding you as you guys go up. And I kept on saying, "Be safe in Jesus' name." And I'm standing down there, and I'm like, "God, I want money, but I don't think I don't think this."
And I don't even think we were dressed for that. Hey,
No.
Because we didn't expect that. From the outside, this house is gorgeous, guys.
Yeah, no.
But it's unfinished. And these stairs are in the air. There's nothing
somewhere. There's nothing
underneath the staircase. So it's a beautiful development, but yes, very adventurous. Last time we had to hold dogs. The other time
you had to babysit a cat.
Yes.
The owner goes like, we're gonna go out, but we can't take the cat with us because it's raining. Do you mind babysitting the cat? And I'm like,
and that cat is looking at you like. So I think it's very adventurous, man. You get to meet a lot of different people. You also get to meet weird couples, funny couples. You also get to meet people where you just be like,
sometimes you get to have to be the marriage counselor.
Yes. Also, in real estate, and that's one thing I like about being a realtor, right? You're a sister. Right now, I'm a sister, guys. I was telling her the other day, I feel like I'm an elder sister at this point because they even know now where I stay. So that's the worst thing that could ever happen to you. So that's one thing that
I'm not comfortable with people knowing where I stay.
No, they actually
come. The reason why I moved from my complex was the fact that I've sold so many houses that when there's no water in the complex, instead of going to the caretaker, they come to me. How the hell am I supposed to know why there's no water? Because I also don't have water.
At night, they came to me because someone was making noise. I'm like, you have to go to the security for those things.
I think that's the more reason why I actually moved, because I felt like I don't have peace.
Yes, like most of the time, like you become a sister. You become a sister, a brother. I mean, not a brother. Sorry, a daughter. You are a cousin. You are a therapist. You are a psychologist. You are a lot of things. You know, especially when it comes to emotional sales. Emotional sales will have you sitting with a seller who's selling not because she wants to, but because of circumstances.
Yeah.
And you'll have to actually switch aside from being a realtor in that moment to being an advisor, to being a sister, to being a prophet, not a prophet, a pastor in that moment as well. You know, talking about God and giving the strength. You know, it's a roller coaster of emotions being a realtor. That's why I say one word, in one whole word, I'll put it as adventurous.
So yeah, I mean I think people don't get that part of the most difficult part of being a realtor. It's you having to switch into different roles,
Characters, yes.
and still and people like clients like to offend realtors and and expect you to still be at your best. How do you deal with that? Because I think, okay, most of new realtors deal with the issue where a client says, okay, I'm ready to sell, or I'm ready to buy, or I'm ready to rent, and those people ghost them. As a new realtor, that thing can actually put you to bed. Like, you can go to the ICU for that. What do you have to say to that? How do you handle that part of being a realtor?
I mean, again, you're a single person besides being a realtor. You are, Krie, then there's Krie the realtor, you know. So when those kind of things happen, I'm not gonna say this making it sound as if, oh, it's just an easy thing to let go.
Yeah.
I learned this 3 years later. I learned it from not only you, but from Chanel as well, where my buyers would hit on a property and they go MIA. Or somebody that I had an appointment with, which I'm at the gate and I'm coming to list your property and you go MIA. It happens, it's part of work, it's part of the journey that you are in. There is going to be the 10%, I don't want to say 10%, that's too much. There's going to be the 2% that's going to go MIA, that's going to leave. There's going to be 90%, 98% that makes your life. The 98% that needs you to help them. Remember, this is a helping relationship. It's not I'm not just coming to you to say, oh, sell your house, and you're not getting anything out of it. You're getting either a good price out of it. You're getting a good, let's say you invested 10 years ago. If I come and say, oh, look at how much you can get now for your property, and you're making 1 million extra, it's not like you're getting it for free. You understand? There's work that's in all of this. There's work that I'm doing. There's also work that, the only work that you can give me is obviously listing your property and giving me the things that I need for your property, and I take it further from there. But if they don't come back to you, then you don't need my services, and it's okay. We move on. 7 billion people in the world. I always say this, 7 billion people in the world. There's 7 billion people still waiting for you to come and help them out, So you can't really be stuck on one client. I called Kailami Hills. How long have I called it and I only got one out of 1,000 contacts? One. You understand? So even if you do get that one person, it's an excitement because there's one out of 1,000 people that needs your services, that needs your help. So if somebody goes to you or go MIA, on to the next one.
I have 2 questions left for you.
Okay,
let's start with this one. What is the most, can you describe the most rewarding moment you've had in your career?
Getting my paycheck and going to Cape Town. Guys, that money hits different, I tell you. If there's one thing that's rewarding in real estate, is the money. Because the money is good. The money is, if you're an immature, right, and not in a bad way, I'm just talking about immature in financially situations where you've never ever received 50,000 Rand in your account. Imagine me receiving 50,000 Rand. When you see those zeros, you're like, are those right? Because this is all yours. Imagine now look at that. Like, look at not having to get that one person who didn't get back to you, that one person who ghosted you, and then look at the person that actually needed your service and you finally getting paid for it. The most rewarding experience was ever gifting myself with the Cape Town trip.
And that was a
beautiful. It was a beautiful.
And by the way, I was unemployed on that trip because I've just quit my.
You were?
I've just quit my my previous job. Yes. I quit with my previous
agency. Yes.
And I was unemployed, living my best life as an unemployed. I remember the other day, my partner even goes like, "You're too happy for an unemployed person."
and came back as a boss.
I think that Cape Town trip was also a retreat for us to start Muga properties, because we told everyone we don't give a damn what's happening right now. We just want to rest. And I think rest and reset is one of the things that people need to prioritize, more especially if you are a boss babe, because it gets down. So guys, the last question, it's a little bit of a story time, and I hope you watch until here. And before we finish the last question, you all know what happens here. So I just want to encourage you, please subscribe, please like and comment right now, and then let's tune in for the last question. And because what are you waiting for? If you haven't subscribed, honey, join the family, okay? And please don't forget to give us questions that you want us to talk about. It doesn't have to be real estate. It can be anything, and we'll get to the expert that are going to come and address the question. But this particular question is not even a question. I'm going to give you a background story. Okay. So I think a lot of people, when they talk about real estate and being a realtor, they see selling Sunset, selling Tampa. They see those, beautiful house, a massive house, and that's what they envision. And I think that's the reason why most people quit at their first or third month of being a realtor, because they get to see that actually you mop the floors, sometimes you pack the panties away,
gloves and scrub,
all those things. But there's something weird that most people don't talk about, and that's haunted houses. Does a ghost increase or decrease the property value?
I mean,
there's houses where you enter and you can feel that.
Guys, now I have a theory, right? If I didn't kill you, it's got nothing to do with me. I will enter that house. Yo, you come and tell me that there was a murder, whatever that happened here. I will go and fetch a bucket of water, pray for the water, cleanse that house. But I will not be here thinking, there's a... Nah, I did not kill you.
The demon chasing you out,
why is he chasing me out? We have nothing in common. It's not me.
It's the house.
I'm not the one who killed them. Whose house, Kanjani? They killed you. No, go and fight somebody else.
Krie does not believe in haunted houses.
No.
I personally do believe in haunted houses, and if I ever enter a house and I can feel that this house is haunted, I run and I never come back.
I think if there's anything that I've never been really scared of is the whole idea of haunted things, because I believe that if I'm not the one who did it to you, and also I'm not what do you call those people that those people that can speak to ghosts?
I don't know
that word. For as long as I can't hear you, can't see you, you are not there.
But the person died in there.
Yeah, they died in there. They died. Unfortunately, rest in peace. I will continue selling the house. If anything the spirit should do is bring me more people, is get people to say yes, because I will work in that house.
So according to you, ghosts actually increase the value of the house?
Yes.
Because they help you find the people.
Yes, they would, definitely. Would you think you're supposed to tell someone that somebody died in here? Or it depends on
if you are like me, you will know that someone died. You feel it.
Yeah, because you're scared. With me, I will walk in there like none of it ever happened.
You will feel it. To be honest, remember when I told you that we did a viewing and I could feel it? The first time I felt it when I was going for a listing appointment, right? And guys, if I tell you that I took a buyer in, and the buyer felt it exactly where I felt it in his absence. You get me?
You see, that is why.
But we didn't know.
But that is why, if it's an owner who died in their house, have a conversation. Even if you don't see them, you tell them, look, I'm having this conversation today and not tomorrow, not onwards. Let's start there. I am very, very sorry about what happened. Rest in peace. But now we need to find a solution for your house, because at the end of the day, it's just stuck there creating problems. Your kids can no longer move forward. Your kids needs to pay levies. Your kids needs to pay bonds. That's a conversation that needs to be had. And sometimes spirits don't just stay. Maybe it's staying there because, I mean, how long has those things been there? 2-3 years?
I don't know.
What kind of relationship did you have with your kids? I'll intervene as a human being into spirituality as well, if that's why I have to also enter.
God.
But guys, personally, I would still sell a house that's a murderous house.
I wouldn't.
Unless people know that it's a murderous house, because their value can drop if people know.
But then also, I think according to the PPRA, you need to disclose anything, crime, death, suicides, everything that have happened that is in your knowledge.
Off disclaimer, right? It depends. For me, it depends. It depends. I can't, because I mean, if somebody killed, murder is different, because it could happen that it's most murders that happen in houses. It's either somebody close or break-ins. In this instance, it's not a break-in or sicknesses, right? But suicide, imagine telling someone suicided in this house. Who's going to want to stay in a house that someone suicided themselves?
But then if they find out later on and you were privy to the information,
I would not say suicide.
you would say what?
They were sick? No! Suicide! You're going to think that if something happens or if they get sick, next thing they're going to say, I think it's this house making me feel depressed.
Yeah, but the recent incident is that I also didn't know.
That's the
But
thing.
I felt it. So I feel like there's a difference between a house having someone that passed on and there's a house that is haunted.
So would you say my house was haunted?
Which one?
The one that yeah.
Yeah, that white guy was still there.
Guys, this is a topic for another day. Do you guys think that white people can haunt?
Yeah, and they also can be a ghost.
I don't believe it.
Bro, you need to... guys, let me catch you up. What happens is that this particular house that we were renting out, right? We heard that there was a guy that got killed in that house.
Doing shady business.
It was an Airbnb particularly. And then after that, the owner decided she doesn't want to do Airbnb. She's renting it out. So this is the realtor, right? When I said the house was haunted, it's because we had about 4 or 5 viewers come in and they couldn't get through to the house. They would literally stand by the door and be like, nah, we don't like it.
The security even said,
and this is a true story.
Are you sure that spirit is not chasing them away?
The spirit was chasing them away, because how are you going to walk into the house and then you'll be like,
I had a conversation with it. I told it to stop. I'm telling you, I mopped that house with water that I prayed for.
But then now you believe that there's haunted houses.
Okay, yes, there can be. I'm not saying there isn't, right? That's why I'm saying I'm not a medium. Yes, I'm not a medium, right? And also, the way I see things as it's not me. I'm not the one who did it. That's why for me, I can walk into the house even if there's 1,000 ghosts roaming around my head. But remember also, the mind is also a very big thing.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody something, with people as well, if you tell someone, actually tell someone now that, for instance, if we can say to somebody, there's a hole there, right? They will not even go try and look at, they will just walk in a way that they, as much as they can, they don't go closer.
So in other words,
that.
it's all in our mind.
It's all in the mind. I promise you, I got tenants, by the way, for that house. If you guys wanted to know the ending, I did get tenants for that house, and they stayed 2 years. And I got another tenant.
The white men didn't kill them.
Exactly. You know why? It's none of our business. I'm not the one who did it.
I think in conclusion, if you're a realtor and you come across a haunted house, pray for it.
Yes.
Or run like me. and I think also as you need to know that the truth is you are serving the society, so it is important that you also know the history of what you are selling, why people are selling, and certain things like that. Because I mean, there's deceased estate that sell every single
house
time.
that had haunted people? The people that moved in wasn't she a Sangoma?
No, not that one. Oh, I have had so many haunted houses. Not that one. That one, she was a sangoma, so she didn't care. And no, I actually don't think the house was haunted. Because remember, okay, the one that she's talking about is a house that I sold like 4 times, right? Guys, I sold this house 4 times in a period of 2 years. I met the first buyer. They've been there longer. They're the initial buyer, the initial seller. So they sold because they wanted to move out of the estate, fix their credits, and then buy somewhere else. So they did that, and then I got someone to move in to buy the property. So now the second buyer stayed, and then the problem is that the buyer wanted to sell because they didn't have money to continue with the house.
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
So the problem came when I put that house in the market.
Okay.
This particular one that is a sangoma came to view the house first, and then when they came to view the house first. Their credit was bad, so they asked me to keep the house for them, right? And I was like, I can't. And then the other purchaser purchased the property.
Yes.
When the other purchaser purchased the property, she started feeling like she's been haunted.
Yes.
And within 3 months of owning the property, she opted for selling. And I spoke against it, and then she was like, I can't sleep. So we thought maybe it's a trauma experience of maybe being mugged or anything like that. Right. So now my mind didn't go back to that purchaser.
Yes.
My mind went to put back the house in the market.
Yes.
So I posted that house, and he called me. He's like, why are you selling my house? Who are you? What do you want? This is my house.
And this is the sangoma couple.
Yes.
They kept something there.
So there goes, this is my house. I want to buy it. I'm ready to buy it. And I remember, like, immediately I was like, oh,
yes.
I'm so sorry. I should have called you. And then they're like, what happened? And I was like, no, the lady is relocating. Don't.
Yes, yes, I remember that.
And then now their credit was good. We buy the house. Everything. I didn't know that they're sangoma by that time. And then immediately when we were finalizing the whole thing, the guy started telling me about how their sangomas, that house was shown to them by our sisters, that they need to move in. Even the day that they were moving in, it was a whole thing. And I was like, yes.
For that one, I strongly believe they made sure they kept something there, because there is no way. I've watched, I don't know if you guys have watched 2.5 Men. There's a part where, Charlie's mom is a realtor, and when Charlie dies, whenever she tries to sell the house, like when people come in and to do their condolences, she obviously talks about being a realtor. If there's one thing that women likes doing is marketing. In every part she will be telling them that she's a realtor and she's selling the house, and she'll be like, oh no, God, no, don't worry, he didn't die here inside the house, he died outside of the house. So that's not the same.
That's supposed to make the buyer better.
Yes, it's not inside of the house. I mean, I think it's the same thing with certain things. Even clothing, there's certain things that you need to buy. When you buy, you wash it before you wear it. Even with a house, I mean, before you enter the house, you then talk to the house or cleanse the house or
whatever you believe in.
Yeah, whatever you believe in that works for you, you can do all those kind of things. But death and a listing can never.
They can never go.
Death cannot stand between me and a listing.
Oh my God.
Nah.
I think, guys, to be honest, what we can live with is that if you want to be a realtor, or if you are a realtor and you've just started and all these things are happening to you, they are not new. People just don't talk about them, and just have an open mind. If you are a weak person like me, balega, meaning run and go get the strong
and be very resilient.
I am not a resilient person. I am ready to leave any situation at any given time. But then, lucky me, I got people that are willing to take it over to them and be like, don't worry, we got you, And I'm a prayerful person. I don't know. I'm just scared, And I know that biblically I'm not supposed to be fearful, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I mean, you're human after all.
Yeah,
man,
I'm working on it. I'm working on being bold, and I realize I'm not a bold person.
At the end.
No, I'm not a bold person when it comes to situations. I'm
okay,
a bold
to certain
person.
situations.
Yes, I don't deal with complications the way you do. I just want straightforward things. Like when there's issues, I shrink and I run.
I think if anything, where the attitude I used to have ran into boldness.
Yeah.
Let's rather just sum it up into.
I think with you like, what's the worst that can happen?
That can happen.
With me, I'm like, I don't want to see it. And then I'm like,
I don't even want to know what the worst can happen.
Guys, I'm going to link Krie's Instagram page down below. If you're looking to buy, to sell a house in the area of Kyalami, in the area of Kouwswoord, this is your girl. Please reach out to her, and please do follow Prime Oak Property Management, where we do property management for your realtors, for your properties. If you're an investor and you've been troubled by tenants that are hard-headed, this is your girl, and we have all the services for you. And if you have any questions for her, please drop it down below and she will respond to each and every question. And we love you so much. See you on the next episode. Mwah. Bye.